This video is going to cover how to add a job in MotorBase and the SpringPoint suite. There are 4 ways to add a job. First of all, you can add a job from scratch, and we're going to take a look at that in just a moment. Once you have a job established, you can go ahead and duplicate that job and bring in all the details with a new job number, a new date, and then make any changes you want. Third, you can convert a quote to a job. When you do that, you'll bring all the information from your quote into your job, and you can edit from there. At that point, that job and that quote are connected to each other and can be accessed through hyperlinks and summary information. Finally, you can create a job using the QM Wizard. The exact same fields that are in MotorBase that we're going to see here in a moment are available in the QM Wizard, only that's more friendly for tablets and has a different look and feel. We'll take a look at that here at the end as well. There's actually a 5th way of adding a job. It's called the Express job, and that's covered in a different video. That's intended for very small jobs, such as a bench test or something that's going to be real quick in and out, where you don't need to track all the detail like we're going to see here in a moment. So let's get on with it. All right, so here from the MotorBase main menu, we are in the Repair Job and Quotes section, and we're going to select Repair Job Details. Once we open that screen, it's going to bring us to the most recent job. So we can see here we're on job R1028. We'll go here down here to the bottom left, click Add, and we're going to bring up a new job. It's going to walk us through a series of questions. At this point, we're asking for the department. You can make changes here. It's defaulted in our case here to the repair shop, and the job number is going to be 1029. Next thing we're going to do is have the customer. I'm going to select Bealtech Labs. And now we're going to see that MotorBase is checking the system. We can see that this customer is over their credit limit. With the proper authorizations, you can go ahead and override that. And then finally, we see here a note that's saying that Bealtech Labs requires a purchase order. And I'll acknowledge that. Next, we're going to go through the equipment. So we're going to bring in some equipment to work on. And you have the option, the default, to take the next sequential ID. You can also select from an existing equipment. So if you've seen this equipment before or serviced them, you would have them in this list of a drop-down list. So if I select from the existing equipment IDs, this drop-down is going to have other items that we've serviced for, sold to, or cataloged for Bealtech Labs. And then finally, you can enter your own ID. So if there's a particular ID that you're using for that, just a custom number, you can go ahead and use that as well. We don't necessarily recommend it because it is possible then to create duplicates. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and take the next sequential ID. If there are customer-specific requirements that you have set up in the customer details section, you're going to see those here. So here we have a note that they never want to see freight on the invoice, and you have the option to copy that into just your on the reports or bring it over to the comments. So if you look over here to the left, you'll see the comments section is blank. We click the comments, and now that information is brought in and can be edited once it's over here. But it saves you from typing that. And it's also, the idea is that it reminds you of these customer-specific requirements so that you don't forget about them. All right, so now here we are. We have the customer in. We have a default bill to and ship to. If for some reason this job is going to go to a different bill to or ship to, you can select those or create new ones on the fly using the bill to and ship to tabs. The equipment ID, a new piece of equipment has been created, and we'll be able to add the nameplate information here, and we'll show you that in a moment on the nameplate tab. The QM form field relates to our QM Wizard. So if you're going to use the QM Wizard to guide your technicians through the work process, here's a place that you can go ahead and select that form. So we'll go ahead and bring in the 3-phase AC motor repair form, and we'll add those tasks. Next, there's a place for the reason sent for repair. This is just text. We'll keep it short for demonstration purposes. And also cause of failure. The next block here, cause of failure, you can, if you type something out and you really like it, you can keep it by clicking save, or you can access previously entered information through the little plus sign here. So at this point, we'll just go ahead with one that's already listed here. We'll click Unknown, Investigate, and Report, and we will transfer that over to the job. So it's been brought in, and once it's here, we can go ahead and edit that if we need to. And the same thing for the required work. So we'll go ahead and find what we have already listed. We'll bring in the minor AC motor repair, and we will transfer that over. Again, that can be free text as well and can be edited. Down here in the lower left section of the screen, you're going to see a number of items here. Job header can be used to roll up multiple jobs under the same job header. So if you're going to, say, repair 4 motors but send your customer 1 invoice, you could create 1 job for your customer for the invoice, but then roll up all 4 of those repair jobs, which will each be tracked independently as far as their material, their labor, your profit, and so forth. But then the invoice can be sent with 1 invoice covering all 4 of those jobs to your customer. The completed box here would mark this as complete. Same with the delivered, would mark it as delivered. And then some other administrative information. I won't take the time to go through all of those. Although I do want to point out that we have the ability to put in there a recurring job. So if you're going to do, say, monthly maintenance, you can have a recurring job and schedule it to go every month. And then finally down here, we have the ability to let you put in custom fields for each of your customers. So there are 6 fields available to you for each of your customers. In this case, 4 of them have been selected and labeled. So we have this RO number, SO number, tag number, and then over here you'll see the JMS number. If the other 2 fields were labeled, they would be selected here. So you have the ability to figure out where you want to have those in this little section here. And if there's nothing selected, it'll just be gray like the rest of this as well. Moving to the upper right, we have the status. Status is an important part in MotorBase. It's a way of tracking what's going on with the job and getting a history as well as notes. You can also start to analyze your business, see where your bottlenecks are using the statuses. When you click on these, it's going to open up the status history. So we see that we have this has been booked in. It's an auto creation. And if we wanted to quickly change the status, I can click the drop down. I have all my different statuses, and these can be customized. So if I want to move this, say, like into the inspection status, I can bring it in here and leave a note saying to use the QM Wizard form, and then store that. So now you see we have updated our status and provided a note there. So anybody that goes back and looks at the history, they can walk through the entire job to see what's going on with that. The dates, priorities, and so forth that you see here are fairly straightforward. You're seeing a couple times here that because this customer is set up to require a PO, we've got it flagged in red for our attention that it requires a purchase order. So once I bring in, enter the purchase order number here, that goes away. The department and job type, these are going to be important parts for tracking and analyzing not only your job, but the business as well. So we'll do a 3-phase repair. I'm going to skip over a lot of the administrative information that you're going to see here and move down toward the bottom. First of all, you can place this job on hold if for some reason the job gets put on hold. If we're going to get rid of this job, we can delete the job. Over here in the lower left, there's a delete. If you delete something from MotorBase, it is gone forever. So use that with caution. If, let's say you've put all this information in here and the customer changes their mind, they don't want the job, we recommend not deleting, but entering a cancellation date. When you enter the cancellation date, the job is going to be placed into a canceled status. It'll be available to look at. You'll be able to see a list of canceled jobs. But then if the customer changes their mind, they say, you know what, go ahead and let's do that. You don't need to re-enter all the information. You just need to pull it out of the canceled status and move on. You already have all that information available to you. The last thing I want to show you on the screen relates to the ESA accreditation program. If you're an accredited shop and you are doing an accredited repair, this last field here in the lower left is for the accreditation label. So once the job is done, you would enter the accreditation label. And this job then is tied to the accreditation program. And you'll have a list in for all of your accredited jobs. So when it comes time to audit, You can just go to that one list and have all your jobs. In fact, there's a lot of ESA accreditation related screens inside of MotorBase. That makes it really simple to go through the audit process and to track all of your equipment related information, your calibrations, trainings, outsourced work, and so forth. So it's a handy tool when it comes down to tracking the accreditation and the audits. Okay, very quickly, I'm going to walk through some of the things on the top here, the tabs. Right now, at this point, we have added the job. It's here. It's available in MotorBase and the rest of the SpringPoint suite. But just to give you a little bit of overview of what happens here at the rest of the screens. First of all, the nameplate. Had we selected a piece of equipment that had been here before, we would have all of the nameplate data that had been previously entered. In this case, we added a new piece of equipment, so there's nothing here yet. So now we can go through and enter all that. The green fields are ones that we have designated as being required, which that can be done by your individual shop. So whatever is important to you by classification of equipment, you can make those required. So here we'll bring in a motor, and we'll just put a few of these in. You can make these to be drop downs, numeric values, etc. And we'll go ahead and leave it there for saving time. But obviously, you have a lot of fields, and you can even create custom fields as well. The purchase screen is blank right now because we have made no purchases yet. In fact, when we go through these tabs, they're all pretty much going to be blank. But I'm going to show you what they look like and what information will be populated there. So as we go, any purchases made for this particular job will be listed here, along with a link to the purchase order. And in fact, from this screen right here, you can go ahead and even add a purchase order. Job lines is intended for anything that's taken and moved into the job. So if you pull something out of stock, put it into the job, it'll show up here, as well as items that have been purchased for the job. Schedule tab gives you one place inside of the suite where you are able to schedule specific employees for jobs, give them expectations, tell them a priority, and then that information is accessed by your employees either through the MotorBase time clock on screens like this or through the mobile time clock on mobile devices. Once the employees log their time, the labor is going to show up here, and you'll see all the different labor, the amount of time, the work codes. MotorBase is very forgiving with the right permissions. Should an employee log too much time, log the wrong work codes or earning IDs, those can be adjusted and corrected very easily inside of MotorBase. The quote screen here, had there been a quote that we converted to the job, we would have a summary information here along with a link back to the actual quote. And you also have the ability to add a quote down here. So in the instance that the motor comes to you, you're going to do a quote and do an inspection and then a quote. You would open the job first, because now you're starting to put time, labor into it, collect the information. Once you get to the point of adding a quote, you come here, you click add a quote, and that'll take you to the quote screen. Again, that quote is now going to be linked back to the job. The information that you've already put into this job detail screen, such as the reason for repair and the required work and so forth, is going to populate in the quote screens, and you'll be able to move on with your quote. If you've not yet seen the repair quote video, I recommend that you take a look at that, and it'll walk you through the entire quote process. As your time and material is put into the jobs, the information is going to populate this screen here, and you're going to get a real-time view of where you stand for labor and material and profit in each of those categories, along with the total profit. And then this will be the last place you come to look to finalize things before moving into converting the job to an invoice. As you go through the process, you take pictures, you run test reports that can be collected and stored here as attachments and available for use later. The invoice screen, once you actually convert the job to an invoice, it'll be listed here, and you're not limited to one. You can have many invoices for each job. So if you're going to have a long job and it's going to be progress invoicing, you can easily do that inside of MotorBase. Again, you're going to have summary information here along with links back to each individual invoice. You have a place here for your bill of material. The log tabs throughout MotorBase allow you to just have notes, which is a great place to document things like why you made a decision, conversations you may have had with the customer or among yourselves. It's a great place to have history, and you'll see those throughout the MotorBase and the SpringPoint suite. And the last thing I want to point out here, for our customers that participate in the Green Motor Initiative, MotorBase is fully tied in so that you have access to the documentation, and just saves a ton of time. For those of you who are not participating in that, these screens can be hidden so you don't have to worry about seeing those. And that completes the job, how we add a job into MotorBase. So if we were to add a second job now, and we want to just basically do the same type of thing again, we come right down here to the bottom middle, and we would create a duplicate of this job with a new job number, and then we can go ahead and make the changes and adjustments from there. Real quickly now, I'm going to jump over to the quote screen and show you how to create a job from a quote. So back here on the main menu, we'll select Quotes. I'm going to select Convert at the bottom of the screen and convert to a new job with a new sequential job number. Click OK. Supply any information that we need to change or update. You can see we've created the job and we have a link to the job. So here we are on our new job, having brought all our information over from the quote. At this point, I'm going to transition and take a look at the jobs inside of the SpringPoint suite and show you how to add a job in the QM Wizard. We're taken to the dashboard where we have the programmed reports that we've selected to give us information at a glance. Let's go up and add a job. The first screen gives us a couple of options here. So we're going to select Field Service, and we'll do an installation of start of the motor that we're actually working on right now back in the shop. We'll just get this into the system. So we'll select our customer as Bealtech Lab. And this time, we're going to select the existing motor ID. This is the one that we previously entered on the last job, and now we'll create the new job. Once we do that, we're brought into a screen that has the same fields as in MotorBase, with a different look and feel. From here, we can go ahead, add all the job information to include a job form. And from here, we can go ahead and add the other items such as reason for repair, cause of failure, so forth. In this case, we're going to install. You can see the rest of the fields here are very similar to what we've done in MotorBase, so I'm not going to go back and do all of those items. I do want to point out here, the nameplate information that we previously entered is available here in QM Wizard, and we can go ahead and continue to update if we want to take the time to put more information in here at this time. Now let's take a look at some of the other places in the SpringPoint suite where these two jobs that we've just added are going to show up. First of all, let's take a look at the job tracker. Now, this being a demo database is going to have a bunch of things that I have opened up but have never closed out. And you'll see down here all these jobs that are listed that are past due because they're in red. As we come up to the ones we've just added, you can see that these are in white. Down at the bottom, we've got R1029. That's the job we added in MotorBase. You can see the status is in inspection, it's Bealtech Labs, and the job dates and so forth. Now we've also added this field service job. That's the FR1004 number that we just added through the QM Wizard. That's already here and in Job Tracker. Let's take a look at the Quality Management Wizard. Here we see R1029. This is the complete AC three-phase motor repair that we added in MotorBase. It's ready to go, so our technician can log in and start working through the checklist. The QM Wizard is covered in other videos, so take a look at those when you have an opportunity. Your sales managers and sales reps can look at the job in the CRM program. So we open up the CRM program, we're taken to a dashboard, we'll search the customers, we'll find Bealtech Lab, and look at their recent jobs and histories, and here we see R1029 and FR1004, the two jobs we just added. From there we can drill down and get more information for our salespeople to have that information when they're talking to their customers. And if you've given these customers permission, they can view their jobs in the customer web portal. The portal is accessed normally through a link on your website. They log in with the permissions that you have given them. Here they can see not only their payables, quotes, and equipment, but also their jobs. So here we see 1029, 1004, the jobs we just created. Again, they can drill down here for more information, and there are other videos on the customer web portal that you can check out to learn more about that program as well. For more information on this or other SpringPoint products, continue with the videos in this series or contact us at sales@springpt.com.